Everybody. I'm Calvin Legg, and I'm currently completing my final semester of graduate school at the University of Texas at San Antonio. And today I'll be walking you through my master's project and the explorations and discoveries I found along the way. So, for my master's project, I was tasked with identifying a problem and implementing a potential solution to said problem. After some extensive research, I came across a problem that resonated within me. The problem 800 million people suffer from every day: food insecurity. So, food insecurity is defined by Oxford Languages as the state of being without reliable access to a sufficient quantity of affordable, nutritious food. Food insecurity is caused by a few initial aspects, including lack of distribution and access, as well as the rapidly depleting resources in the era of climate change. Food insecurity has also been linked to chronic disease as it develops a cycle which goes hand in hand with each other. Once started, the food insecurity cycle is very hard to break, and many families struggle with multiple compounding factors as a result. Shown on the right is a conceptual framework of the cycle of food insecurity and chronic disease. As you can see, it starts with food insecurity and eventually develops coping strategies, chronic disease, healthcare expenses go up, and household income comes down. And it repeats and repeats. So my solution to this problem was to bring the nutrients to them through agritecture. Agritecture is a way to incorporate agriculture into the architecture of the urban context. Through the solution, it addresses the root causes of food insecurity by providing the access to these nutrients and eliminating the need for distribution. I decided this would best be achieved through a mixed-use project that would benefit the entire community through different needs and aspects. My first question to myself was, how can I tackle such a big problem? And maybe I can't tackle food insecurity as a whole, but could I implement a solution for a specific site in a specific neighborhood that could reduce the percentage of people that are struggling with food insecurity? With that being said, I needed to look at what community could benefit the most. And after some consideration, I decided to look into Vancouver, Canada. This was for multiple reasons, but the main aspect that attracted me was the opportunity for funds from the government. Now, you're probably asking yourself, how can Agritecture get funds from the government? And that's because Canada has a universal healthcare system that is currently spending more money on long-term effects of food insecurity, such as chronic ongoing diseases caused by the vicious cycle that is food insecurity. Valerie Tarosky, a professor for the Department of Nutritional Sciences at the University of Toronto, was part of a team examining the relationship of food insecurity and annual healthcare costs. She discovered that household food insecurity has been shown to diminish adults' functional health, pose barriers to self-care for those with chronic conditions, and increase probability that they will become high-cost users of healthcare and heighten the risk of negative disease outcomes. After choosing Vancouver, I searched for a neighborhood that would benefit the most, and that's when I came across the downtown Eastside neighborhood, which has been linked to lower income as well as a higher percentage of the community being at risk for long-term chronic diseases. The downtown Eastside neighborhood already enacted a revitalization plan to enhance the community. Among the goals listed in their plan, the ones I'm trying to accomplish include opportunities for employment, an affordable grocery store, activating the street, creating childcare spaces, enhancing a sense of inclusion, belonging, and safety for all, and connecting and celebrating existing public spaces. So after I located my site, I needed to think what exactly a vertical farm in an urban context would look like and what it would need to thrive in its environment, as well as what parts would go into this program. I came up with the parts being agriculture as the main component, and then restaurant, market, and residential being the subcomponents. So I'll go right into agriculture. So agriculture, just a place to grow the nutrients which entails both an interior and exterior method of growth. You can see on this slide, you can see the exterior section of growth on the section and the roof plan. And then on this one, you can see the interior. However, firstly, I'll go over the exterior and the design decisions I made in order to achieve the most productive produce. These design decisions included orientation, which I angled to receive the most southern light, cuts on the other buildings, which you can see in the roof plan on the right, which were cut directly south in order to let that nice southern light pass through the southern buildings and illuminate the northern building. And finally terracing, as you can see in my section and in the roof plan, which allows each level and sublevel to receive an ample amount of sunlight. And then there's just that interior section. And then these are some more sections showing exterior and interior agriculture. And now I'm sure you're wondering how I'm going to be able to grow produce on the interior. And that leads me to my technology aspect. So upon some research, I found a system that is fully self-sufficient and creates its own ecosystem. The system I chose to use will be very similar to the precedents shown on this slide, which is a self-sufficient aeroponic alternative to traditional methods of agriculture. The key aspects to take away are it's an aeroponic system that grows produce 400 times faster than the traditional agriculture method per square foot annually. It also doesn't need sun or soil, and it is a fully controlled system. It's also very adaptable. It's a very adaptable growing technology due to its modularity structure, so it allows any configuration of space to thrive. And then just as an example of what my interior would look like, and the space would just get configured with my exterior walls. So the next component is the market and the restaurant. I lumped these two together just because they are the public services, and they activate the street as well as bring people into the site. So I'll start with the market. It's just a place that the nutrients produced can be sold and can supply the community, as well as the farmers market is connected to it, and the farmers market functions as a community space in a so-called urban room created by the juxtaposition of the building spaces, which creates a asymmetrical piazza. And this is just a quick diagram to show you that piazza. So I'll go into the next one, which is restaurant. So restaurant, just a place to earn some extra revenue and also feed the neighborhood with fresh farm to table nutrients, which it also has an exterior patio that looks onto the piazza and receives a play of shadows as the light passes through the vegetation, creating an ever-changing scene. This public area really activates the street, and it also invites the public in, giving them a sense of inclusion, belonging, and safety. And then lastly, I really wanted to connect to the public spaces as well as celebrate them that are surrounding my site. As you can see on the top left, Vancouver has a lot of parks in it. My site has one directly to the northwest of it. So I decided that the best way to go about connecting the community was through parks. So parks was chosen for an aspect that creates childcare spaces, enhances a sense of inclusion, belonging, and safety for all, and connects and celebrates existing public spaces. This is just a quick section axonometric, and